I can't let you ask them anymore. All right, so we've got our test coming up next class. That'll be our Unit 3 test. So you guys have your test review, which is number 45. And you guys had that extra class time to work on that on Friday, so you should be feeling pretty good about that. I did want to talk a little bit about the test format and the curve, and I'd like to do an FRQ with you. And then two of the handouts you guys picked up are a circuit that I'm asking you to number as 47, and that one is an optional one where I'll probably ask you to finish it later in the year, but if you do at least half of it between now and the test, then I will give you an extra homework grade. Of course, the homework grade's not that important, but it is more practice on related rates, which is what I think probably needs the most practice in this unit. We've got implicit, related rates, and derivative of exponential functions, but implicit can vary in difficulty and related rates can vary in difficulty quite a bit. Oh, I did forget to say this on bell work. So the book assignment number 41, that was like 3 classes ago, and I'd asked you to turn it into Google Classroom last time, and in Google Classroom it was due at the start of this class. If for some reason you didn't turn it in all those other times, this is your last chance to get full points on it. So I would need that in the basket before we move forward. So not 10 minutes from now, but right now, please. Okay, the reason why I want to pause if that matches you, put it in the basket, please. So our first couple tests are a little bit different as far as curve and all that kind of stuff and level of difficulty. The first big quiz that we took was over limits, and it only had like 2 AP level questions in it, so we gave you like 2 points, I think. I'd have to look back at what the curve was. Then your second unit, where we did chain rule, product rule, quotient rule, all that kind of stuff, that one's a little bit kind of pieced together because your AP exam will certainly have quotient rule question on there. It'll certainly have product rule question in there, but really those are more or less skills to build up to the other stuff. Like, you know, when we do implicit, sometimes you do product rule within that. So even Unit 2 is not a great test, and so some of that is not really AP level stuff, and so the curve on that was a little bit less too. It was, I think, 19 points, and I think we doubled that and then added 3. So just because you got 100, if you got 100 on gradebook on the Unit 2 test, it could still be that you missed a question or 2, but with the 3 points of a curve, it could still go in the gradebook as 100. But from here on out, all of ours are pretty much the same format. Most of our tests from here on out are 9 multiple choice and 1 FRQ. So that gives us 9 FRQ points, 9 multiple choice points. That's out of 18. And typically at this point in the year, we can start using more AP questions. So I forewarn you of that because the test will seem harder, but we also curve it quite a bit more. So the main thing, I think in the end, that's still good for you. But if you don't know that up front and you're taking the test, a lot of times you guys will think that you're doing poorly, but with the curve factored in, you're actually doing fine. So we are not obligated to follow this curve, but I do go ahead and share it with you once. This is typically the curve we go with on AP level tests. If you get all 18 or 17 out of the 18 points, you get 100. So there's 1 freebie. If you get 13 out of 18, you get an 88. If you got half the points, you get a 75. Again, I don't think this should change anything about how you approach studying, feeling prepared, or any of that, but students often do think that the test is harder than the first 2, but it's also curved quite a bit more. We're not just adding a point or 2, we're giving you quite a bit. So, good chance that that's the curve we're going to use. Is there any questions about that, or the test format, or the points, or anything like that? Okay. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about that. All right, so next up, one of the handouts y'all picked up is number 46, which is an FRQ number 5 from the year 2000. And this is a no calculator FRQ. And since we had a little bit of extra time here, FRQs are definitely the place where we will have to continue to practice before they ever start to feel comfortable, even by the AP exam. Usually that's what students are most worried about. So, since we have the time, I want to actually give you time to try it and see how many of the 9 points you could squeeze out. Just fair warning, your test FRQ is not like this. I'm not doing that because it's the exact same type, but it should be on par for difficulty level. So it gives you some feedback in that regard, I guess. So what I'd like to do is, everybody knows which one's the FRQ of the handouts? Okay, so on our actual real AP exam, it's 4 sections, kind of like the ACT is. 2 of the sections are FRQs. The first set of FRQs you get 2, those are calculator allowed, and you get 30 minutes. And then the next 4 are no calculator allowed, and you get 60 minutes. But the point of me telling you that is that on average, you get 15 minutes. So I want to actually set a 15-minute timer, let you do the best that you can, see how many of these 9 points you can achieve, and then we'll go over it, and then hopefully you can see a point or 2 or 3 that are pretty reasonably to get so that you could do a little bit better next time. So no calculator, no risk, just do the best you can, and start now, please. And we'll go over it and talk about the scoring afterwards too. I don't want to interrupt too much, but part of what I want y'all to see is that with 15 minutes, it buys you some time. When you read a question, you don't know immediately what to do. It gives you some time to kind of think it through, read the question a couple times, try something, see if it helps. It looks like for this one, each question is independent of the others. So if you do get stuck on one, you should still have a chance to earn other points on the others. You're 5 minutes in and you still have 10 minutes.
Mr. Thompson, are calculators allowed?
This is a no calculator one.
Okay.
Okay, 6 minutes left.